Hi guys, I wanted to hop on for a second and talk about this tool I've been using a lot lately. It's something I've used for a long time, but it's called Code Compare. And if you do very much coding or writing queries for databases that have to do with electronic health records, and if you're someone like me who will go crazy trying to find a missing parenthesis or figuring out what's wrong in a piece of code, it can be really handy because you can take two sets of your code and look at them side by side, and it'll try to kind of line it up and find differences. So I thought I would just show you really quickly here how that works. So this is Code Compare, and I just have a really simple query in here that looks at client visits from the Credible database. So you can look at all client visits that were in the last year. This little bit of code here just looks for the last year of visits. And then I just have here something that says the client visit type needs to be like individual therapy. And over here I have the same thing. But what Code Compare does that's really nice is you can see here it highlighted that over here I have a little percent sign inside the quotes for that like statement. And what that does is it's like a wildcard. So what this query will do is it'll return any client visits that have a visit type that includes individual therapy, but it could have anything in the wording before that. So it could be in-home individual therapy or family style individual therapy. That doesn't totally make sense, but you know what I mean. It could have words in front of the word individual and still get brought into this query. Whereas over here, this is only going to find client visits that are exactly like the words individual therapy. So it can be really handy if you had a query that was doing something and you couldn't figure out what was going on, or maybe you had changed something, or maybe in one section of your query you were getting a certain number of records and in another section you were getting a different number of records. It can be really handy to use this tool to figure out what's different between these two and what's going on. Because I often will spend a lot of time trying to figure out what I did, and it's usually some one or two little character thing that's just easy for my eyes to miss. Code Compare is really nice because it'll kind of line things up even if they don't line up perfectly. So like, see how it kind of figured out that this little line of code is what's over here, even though there's some extra enters and there's this comment up here, it sort of lines things up. So anyway, that's a tool I really like using if I'm trying to just kind of pick apart my code and figure out what's going on. It's also super handy if you're trying to figure out what you changed over time. You can compare the old version or the new version. And it's also really handy if you're trying to make the same changes throughout a couple sections of code and you want to know what's different in the two. So anytime you want to do something like that, I very much recommend it. It's free to download and easy to use. So anyway, thought I would share that with you guys. Hope you're having a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.